Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Let me simply begin by saying it's just a joy to have all of us together here this morning. Just nice to be with you, nice to be with each other. Just nothing nicer to be in the spirit, into conscious awareness with each other. Just a few announcements before we begin today. First of all, just want to remind everyone in Now Creations of our quarterly intention that we will hold in love and unity all of the members of Now Creations. Very important for us to continue to extend our loving energy to everyone in our membership. Also, tonight we'll be having the New Earth from 6 to 7:30 this evening. Just go to the website, click on study groups, and scroll down to the New Earth. I also want to welcome everyone to our meditation for tomorrow evening, Monday evening from 7 to 8. It's always fun, always exciting. And let me also mention that my book, The 10 Most Important Things to Know in Life, is now also available on Barnes & Noble. So just a nice opportunity for us to share all of the things we're doing with each other. Let's begin. First of all, let me thank all of you for the many kind responses you extended to the Independence Day teaching on being free from the ego's dominance and free for our growth in spirit. Being able to be free from our little self, free from the world's dominance, and free from worry, anxiety, and fear. It's not a small task. It's a big task. Yet your movement away from such dominance to being able to be free for our aligned self and to take your rightful place as a co-creator in the plan of God by modeling an exemplary behavior for all humanity. These are wonderful achievements. Bravo to you. Bravo to you as you continue to evolve not only humanity, but also our planet. With this background in mind, what I would like to do today in today's teaching is to give you a vision of going forward, a vision of going forward, of how to become a consciously creative presence in the world. And while this vision will have a larger macro component, I also want to include a micro, day-to-day living component of how we can show up each day as conscious co-creators of our lives and of the planet's life. Today's teaching is entitled Two New Declarations. Two New Declarations. So I will use the key word of last week, declaration, but suggest a new declaration of independence and an additional declaration of interdependence. Again, wanting to give not only a macro, but also a micro vision for our future. And I believe that both of these declarations will be able to be viewed from the realm of spirit. Again, helping us to understand how the Holy Spirit can use human teachings and elevate them into higher realms of the spirit. Let's begin. First, a new declaration of independence. The stated intent of the present American Declaration of Independence is obviously to ensure the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all of our citizens. In so many ways, this declaration of inalienable human rights has been a beacon of life and a beacon of hope for many people who do not have such freedoms. And yet, sadly to say, oftentimes these rights are hindered by governments and people living here in the United States, indicating the grip that individual and collective egos can have on people and systems. So what I would like to do is to suggest a new spiritual declaration of independence, which would certainly include the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but would also clearly state these three things. The first one, that each person is the child of God, and we see the child of God in each person. And secondly, that each person has a unique ability and a responsibility to bring their creative gifts into the material world. And thirdly, perhaps most importantly, that each person respects the dignity and unique creativity of others. That each person respects the dignity and the unique creativity of others. Let me now elaborate. In a poll that was taken concerning satisfiers and dissatisfiers in the workplace, the most prominent dissatisfaction among employees, the most prominent dissatisfaction was a sense of not being respected by people in supervision, as well as some of their own fellow employees. This sense of not being respected is certainly not limited to the workplace. So many people experience this sense of being disrespected, which often then leads to a sense of feeling isolated, as well as a sense of a lack of self-worth. Whether intended or not by those who are disrespectful, the effects of being disrespected, whether it be in the workplace or in our homes, on our streets, or in society, are devastating. While each one of us truly is in charge of ourselves, and each will eventually figure things out, I feel that one of our primary responsibilities and one of our primary qualities is the respect we are able to give to others. Whether you do it by way of a smile, maybe taking the time to listen to another, or by giving them a kindness card, your respectfulness, so often missing in the lives of others, is such an important thing. I like to keep on reminding you of how important you are and the behavior that you are modeling. Just as others have patiently assisted you in your growth, you realize that you too are a gift to others, and you are able to help them to reestablish their sense of self by being respectful to them. I just want to repeat this because this is so true, that just as others have helped you, you're coming to understand what a gift you are to others as you help them to reestablish their sense of self. Such an important thing for all of us to understand. As I have mentioned on previous occasions, people love to be in your company, not just because you're a nice person, but also because of the uplifted sense of self that you give to them. For many people, it's hard to realize that they are a child of God and that they have a unique contribution to make to the well-being of the planet when no one in their lives teaches them and reminds them of these qualities. It's hard for people to know that they are that child of God. It's hard to know their gifts that they really have to offer when they don't have people who teach them and remind them of these things. You are becoming the teachers and the reminders of many. You are. just by showing up with your own child of Godness and your own conscious contributions to the planet. I believe that you truly are becoming a spiritual declaration of independence. Not only for what you have achieved in your own life, but also for what you are now able to generate in the lives of others by being respectful to their child of Godness. From a personal standpoint, one of my greatest joys on an ongoing daily basis is the inspiration that so many of you give to the members of Now Creations, certainly loving them, but especially the ways in which your presence is raising the quality of life with them and with the many with whom you share your daily living. You have become a spiritual declaration of independence. And I feel, without arrogance or boastfulness, that you know this. You know this. You feel this. And perhaps more than anything else, it is becoming your personal joy. It's becoming your personal joy to show up this way. You really are making a lot difference in the lives of others and in the life of our planet. Bravo. We are now ready for a second declaration. The second declaration that needs to be clearly made and builds on the foundation of our Declaration of Independence is a new declaration of interdependence, a declaration of interdependence. So let's begin with the notion of a new declaration of interdependence, first from a worldly perspective, then from the macro level of Buddhism, and then, of course, most importantly, from your micro living of daily life. First, from the present human condition in history. Without a doubt, over the past, certainly decade, there has been a movement toward nationalism in many, many nations. Whether initiated by the wave of immigrants from countries who have a lesser degree of freedom in coming to freer countries, or perhaps maybe indicated or initiated by the changes of contemporary society, from Black Lives Matter to transgender issues. There is an obvious segment of the world's population that feels very uncomfortable with these changes. Rather than an open arms globalism, many nations have retreated into a sense of nationalism. While this nationalist retreat has many current problems for humanity on the whole, the present historical factors of globalism are quite clear. May I mention two of them? First, the obvious rise of our international communication systems. Anything that happens anywhere can simply show up on the evening news. We'll get a full view of this with the Tokyo Olympics shortly. And secondly, the economic ties of business. The economic ties of business now extend internationally. We not only have multinational corporations, but also the parts of your car, your telephones, your air conditioning, and even your food and clothes are economically interdependent, economically international. Thus, what I am suggesting to you as a vision is something to give a directive to our humanity, kind of like in the notion of our Declaration of Independence, suggesting that it might be a declaration of interdependence, but not just from the United Nations standpoint, but rather a spiritual declaration of interdependence based on a macro model and a micro model. First, the macro model. I feel that of all of the traditions that have given us this notion of interdependence, and certainly all of the great religions and all of the great philosophies have moved us in this direction, it's best found realistically in the Buddhist teaching called dependent co-arising. Let me briefly describe what dependent co-arising means, although the name itself, I think, is quite revealing. What dependent co-arising means is that everything that occurs is dependent on other factors that come together that make that particular thing to occur. For example, a baby is born through the union of sperm and egg. The baby's arising dependent on the union of the sperm and the egg, and 9 months of gestation, and all of the visits to the doctor's office. In a word, what is happening at any given moment is the result of previous factors. And what is presently arising will then give rise to new things. Now, we might call this dependent co-arising oneness, or we might want to call it the cosmic web of life. I like to say we are simply helping each other. We are interdependent, happily helping each other. Now, let's be more practical. How can we realistically look at a declaration of interdependence in our personal lives? I believe that the interdependence can be summarized by answering the following 4 questions. First, where do I find the others with whom I'm supposed to be interdependent? Answer, right where you are. Right where you are. Second question, how do I know that we are supposed to be helping each other in these circumstances? Second answer, because that's where you are at this time. You may be somewhere else at another time, but at this time, this is where you are, with those with whom you are, in circumstances that are shared. This is the way the universe works. It places us exactly where we can do the most good, which is right where you are. Third question, what am I supposed to be doing? Well, you're supposed to show up as the light, which means to bring your conscious awareness to the situations, confident that your conscious awareness will guide you for the greatest good of all concerned. Show up as the light, confidently, consciously, respectfully. Fourth question, how will I know that I am being effective? Fourth answer, look at the results in 2 ways. Your first result is that you really are showing up as the light. And as you show up as the light, you will be respectful of all others. That's what the light does. It helps us to illumine a situation. And when you show up that way, you then bring the best possible result to everyone. You'll see it and you'll feel it. But the second result is rather slick. It's rather clever. The second result has nothing to do with you. The second result is how the universe will use your light to assist others in their growth, whether you know it or not. Just want to say that again. The second result is something you may never see. It's how the universe, strategically placing you where you need to be, will use the light you bring to raise the quality of the light of others. You might say, well, how would I know that? Well, let me suggest the following. Were there times in your life when someone said or did something that really made a difference to you, but you never told them? I think you get the picture. When you show up as the light, the universe will use your light so beautifully. I just want you to know so completely, so deeply, how you inspire others by showing up respectfully as the light, consciously, confidently as the light. Well, is there anything else? Yes, of course. When you show up with these two documents of life, a declaration of independence and a declaration of interdependence, you will experience your greatest joy. When you see everyone respectfully as a child of God and realize your oneness with them, you will experience the greatest joy in your life. It's how the system works. In conclusion, as we continue to respectfully show up as light in life, life seems to unfold so much better, so much more fun. We know that we are children of the One, and we are respectfully helping each other to greater growth. Don't you know that deeply within yourself? We are children of the oneness, and we are respectfully helping each other to greater growth. Oh, did I mention that your joy increases as you make these two declarations? Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. What fun. So again, let us just be thankful that we have this wonderful opportunity of being with like-minded souls, not just like-minded minds, but with like-minded souls. And let us begin our meditation by simply focusing on the breath and allowing the breath to settle us, to settle our bodies and certainly the mind, but most of all, to bring your soul to the fore. Never underestimating the importance of the breath as it brings in the life force, the prana, to bring your soul forward. Please begin. Didn't take very long, did it, for us to go into that inner place, for us to move into our inner self? And would you just take a moment to settle there? Settle within the conscious inner you. Feel yourself. And as you're right here, right at this moment, feeling that inner self, would you now simply acknowledge that your inner self, the inner you, is part of that larger universal God spirit? And would you simply feel your connection as a child of God to the God energy itself? Feel your oneness consciously. Now, please reflect on this. Here you are, right now at this moment, connected to the larger God spirit. And would you notice how this conscious connection of yours is such a foundation in your life? No matter what's going on, you're always able to come back to this place where you feel that absolute certainty of being one in the God spirit. Just take a moment to reflect on this. What you know right now at this moment, your child of Godness, many people don't know. Many people don't know this. Their life experience has not brought them to this awareness yet. Do you not see that just as we have been taught and reminded of our true child of Godness, that one of our roles in society is to teach and remind others of their child of godness. This is the ultimate independence. And surely you have a right to ask the question, well, what do I do to assist others to know this? You can't be preachy about it. What you can do is to show up respectfully. What does that mean? You'll know what it means. The Spirit will guide you at the moment to be respectful. Let's proceed to the declaration of interdependence. This notion that we are one, that we are connected, that people influence us and we influence them, I think that's certainly a given. What is so very important for us to understand is that it's so easy for people to get back into that separation mode again, where it's just about them and their world or their country or their situation in life. And what becomes important for us is to invite people to be a little more global. This is not an easy thing to do at times. May I just suggest that where it starts is right where you are. It's kind of like you being global in your situations in life, showing up as the light. Now, when I just said that, showing up as the light, didn't something within you just perk? Didn't it just emerge? This is what I want to do. I want to show up as the light. And when we do so, we just help each other. You and I know that we are connected during this service. And we know that there is a universal connection among all humanity in the spiritual center of our lives. This is what makes us interdependent. May I simply encourage you to bring it forth. Please don't worry about how it's going to look or what's going to happen. Show up as the light. And please recall that as others have taught you and reminded you, what a teacher and a reminder you are to others. Your ability to assist others to show up as the light is your greatest gift to them. It's your greatest gift. Now, to conclude the meditation, it's just so very important for us to understand, why would we do this? Why would we have these declarations of independence and interdependence, if not that they increase our joy? They make life better with others, but especially within ourselves. May you rise in joy. May your life just be more fun. May you be happy and content within yourself.
Namaste. to